Greetings. My name is Eddie Irwin, and I have the pleasure of serving as Director of Youth and Young Adults in the Center of Congregational Excellence. I've been invited to share some ideas with you about discipleship and meetings. In some ways, discipleship and meetings during the season of COVID 19 will be the same, and in a few ways, they will be different. Fundamentally, both discipleship and meetings are still about relationships, and they will continue to be about relationships long after we've stopped our social distancing. Whether we are continuing our Sunday school classes or holding virtual trustee meetings, our relationships and how we treat one another during this period will be key. My first piece of advice is to return to a routine. Whether we are 7 or 70, we have a fairly regulated week, and the response to the COVID 19 virus has negatively disrupted this routine and caused a whole lot of anxiety. Returning to a routine will allow for relationships to continue and lower this anxiety. If a youth group typically meets on Wednesday evenings, schedule an online opportunity for them to talk with one another. If your standard staff meeting is on Tuesday at 1:30, set that time aside to connect with your staff. If your finance committee always meets on the fourth Monday of a month, find a way for them to share their spreadsheets, as well as that quilting group that connects on Thursdays to collaborate about their cross stitches. This applies to your Sabbath and spiritual practices as well. If you normally take Fridays off to spend time with your family, guess what? You still need to close your computer. While we may not be able to visit some of the saints we normally attend to in person, there are other means that can begin to return to our normal routines. My next recommendation would be to fail forward. I would imagine that there are very few of us who have ever experienced a pandemic of these proportions, so there are going to be plenty of opportunities to experiment and try new things. This failing forward means that there are going to be ministries that we attempt, and some will take off, and others are not going to be as effective for our community settings. Many of our churches have had to very quickly adapt to online worship. These new ministries may not be as fruitful or as smooth as we would like, but we learn lessons and ways to improve each week. This might be the time to look at some intergenerational opportunities, such as having your digitally native high school seniors assist some of your other seniors with connecting to their grandchildren and friends through video calls. This could also be a great time for established ministries, like a parenting group that meets during the week, to reach out to those parents who normally work outside their residences during the normal meeting times. There's going to be a large influx of college age students into some communities, either because of their workplaces closing or educational institutions moving online. So, incorporating them into some of your compassion and technology ministries of the church could benefit everyone. My final recommendation is to think outside the technology bubble. The majority of my calling is with generations of young people who are digital natives. So it's easy to say to the ninth and 10th graders I teach Sunday school with that we're going to hold it over Zoom, or I'm going to set up an Instagram scavenger hunt for them. While these can be excellent opportunities, we might also think about discipleship methods that don't require the technology. Simple things such as sending a postcard, reading the same scripture together each day, or coordinating a time to pray for one another don't require a router and reinforce our relationships. For many of our congregations, these past few days have given us an opportunity to evaluate and rethink a lot of our ministries. If you have another way your congregation is addressing the discipleship and meeting ministries of your church, or questions about what I've discussed today, please email me at eirwin@txcumc.org.